A good evening and a happy Tuesday to you. I hope you enjoyed the fantastic weather we saw outside today, because I have good news for you. It's going to be another nice one come Wednesday. We are going to increase some cloud cover through the night, but that's actually going to help our temperatures. That's good news there. But of course, we have the weather impact alert to talk about as well as we get towards your Thursday. And don't worry, we'll be breaking that down in much greater detail. So we'll get kind of through all that. But again, tonight, not too bad of a night. That's going to be for sure. As the clouds increase, that almost acts as a blanket here throughout the area. And we're going to see that blanket remain through right around the start of the day tomorrow. Then it'll clear for some sunshine, at least for many of our hometowns here tomorrow. Then we get towards your Thursday. And this low I showed you yesterday, pretty similar spot, right? Well, it hasn't moved too much. It's still kind of over the Pacific Northwest right now, but eventually it is going to deepen and track kind of just up here to our north. Off of it is where we're going to be getting a cold front and a warm front. And as those two occlude right here near the Quad Cities, we're going to be seeing the potential for maybe even some mild rumbles of thunder. I don't remember the last time I talked about thunderstorms here. It's definitely been a while. But yeah, we could hear some mild rumbles of thunder. We've talked a lot more about thunder snow than actual thunderstorms themselves here lately with this active snowy pattern we've been seeing. But we'll put future track into motion. By the way, the Pacific Northwest will continue to get hit by some heavy rainfall here over the next, I'd say, 24 hours or so. I know they've already been dealing with some flooding and there's plenty more rainfall on the way. It's all coming off this same low pressure system that's coming towards us. And we're going to see an increase in moisture coming in, not from the low maybe itself as much as those winds from the south. You can see kind of look just south of Omaha here. We always like to pull out our trusty little pointer, don't we? Just to our south, you can see those southerly winds. That's going to increase that moisture coming in from the Gulf up towards our region. That's going to bring the fuel for, well, that rainfall as we get late overnight, Wednesday into your Thursday morning, almost really just your Thursday morning, right around, I'd say 7:30 through, I'd say right around 6:30 for the more isolated to scattered activity. As we get towards probably, we'll break this down in more detail, I think right around 7 to 9 is when it will become more widespread. Right around the 9 to maybe noon time frame is when the heaviest band of this will push its way through. Then what's going to follow is maybe some passing snow showers, very light in nature, but something we're going to be watching here. But really the cold and a tight pressure gradient. So adding cold pushing into an area that was very warm just 12 hours before, plus the very tight pressure gradient as the low moves through the area, you're talking about very strong winds. That's kind of how we see wind really throughout anywhere in the world. It's driven by pressure gradients and temperature gradients, and we're looking at both of them combined here over the area. The National Weather Service says pretty much at this point it's not a matter of if, but where and when we get a strong or high wind advisory here with this, or at least a wind advisory, maybe not the high wind advisory, but wind advisory for sure with this system. And that's going to be on your Thursday. I think Thursday afternoon is going to be the worst here of these winds. And I know we say secure your outdoor objects, your holiday decorations. I know I've said that a lot here, but also we want to focus on travel. Because with some of these stronger winds, we're going to be seeing the rain move through, right? And then as temperatures drop, we're going to have wet roads with dropping temperatures. That's something we need to watch very closely here with this as well. So very, very much so, drive cautiously is playing a role in this. And also on our interstates, we have so many 18-wheelers moving through here. We're a very big area for those. We could be seeing some travel impacts driving next to them as well, because they do wobble a little bit with these strong wind gusts, that is for sure. Here we are right around midnight with those winds, right around 35 to 40 miles per hour maybe at times, continuing really through that rain system moving through, I said clearing right around maybe noon. That little break in the winds is actually the cold front itself. Once those colder temperatures surge in, you can see we start to see a lot more flashes of that pinkish purple. Again, usually pink and purple is not a good sign in terms of weather, right? When you see that pink or purple on the screen, it's usually not a good thing. And here it's talking about maybe 40 to 45 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts. We'll especially start to see those pick up as we get later into your Thursday. You can see that in some of our hometowns, widespread by right around midnight on Friday. We may need to shift this timing just a little bit with this impact alert, maybe through Friday morning, maybe a little bit earlier on your Thursday. It's all going to depend on when this boundary moves through and when those temperatures drop the most. But there's been pretty consistent timing here with that late afternoon Thursday into your early Friday. So that's kind of where we're at right now with this weather impact alert. But again, those are some strong wind gusts. Those aren't the isolated wind gusts that are even stronger here with this. And it's going to bring in some blustery conditions and a large swing in temperatures. We could be talking about negative wind chills as we get towards 7 a.m. Friday. Because think about how strong those winds are going to be, right around 30 to 40 miles per hour. Even if the temperature is just around 12, there's a significant wind chill there that we're going to need to be watching. The good news is that's not going to be a very long-lasting surge of that Arctic air, that's for sure. We can put future track into motion, time out those showers, maybe some tonight, just a couple little drizzles almost, you could say, right? Then we'll see a little break in the clouds maybe, but pretty much some partly cloudy skies for many of us tomorrow to some sunny skies right along the Mississippi due north and further to the east of the metro itself. Now further to the south and west, that's where we could maybe see a little bit more cloud cover tomorrow. Don't worry, it's not going to hinder anyone's temperatures. We're looking at a beautiful day for everyone here tomorrow in terms of your temperatures. As we get late Wednesday into your Thursday, here's those showers. I told you right around maybe 4 to 5 to 6. Isolated to scattered activity. Once you get near that 7 o'clock time frame, more widespread activity. That push continues through the morning commute, and then here comes that heavier band again right around maybe the 9 to 11 to 12 o'clock time frame. Notice we start to see a lot more of that orangish and the reddish color further to our east. I think that's where we're going to see the higher totals here with this system. You don't see that one little pocket of blue just north of Princeton there. That is just an indication of maybe trying to force a switch over to snow or mix with this. But I will say with these types of systems, you usually get the dry air that comes in first that limits the potential for the switch over to snow before the cold air arrives. That dry air kind of almost stops the rainfall itself before it can actually turn into snow and the cold air arrives. So that's why there's only about a 10 to 20% chance of that switch over to snow here. I think the dry pocket, the dry slot arrives before the cold air itself arrives to start forming those ice crystals or ice crystallization in the upper levels of the atmosphere here. So I don't think we're talking about snow. It's been pretty consistent on our house model. I tried to throw it out yesterday. I refuted it almost. You could say I didn't show it on air, and now it's kind of caught back up to everything else we've been seeing here. So I think mostly we're seeing rain with at least the morning event. Now when it comes to snow on the back end, a little rain wrap, or I guess snow wrap here with this low pressure, yeah, that's possible. Very isolated, but it is going to be coming with those pockets, again, of maybe some of those stronger winds. That's something we have to watch out for here as we get late into your Thursday, into your Friday morning. If you do maybe see some of those flurries coming down with those strong winds, visibility would definitely be impacted. When it comes to rainfall totals itself, nothing too significant. Tenth to a quarter of an inch for most. I think right around that quarter-inch mark is a pretty safe bet. But then I told you on the Illinois side primarily is where we have the potential to see those higher totals upwards of maybe half of an inch here with this system. All in all, nothing too significant that we're going to be looking at here. Overnight tonight, lows right around the upper 20s. Gorgeous, gorgeous night we're going to be looking at. Highs tomorrow right around the upper 30s to maybe even low 40s. It's a nice one, isn't it? Yeah, it's a bit of a switch up from what we've been used to for sure. And today was a nice one, and tomorrow another nice one. It's a pretty nice one. We'll skip ahead from that. My goodness, when will I ever remember to turn those off? Goodness gracious. Anyway, it's your 8-day tracker, right around 39 again tomorrow. High of 45 on Thursday, but that's a decreasing high as those stronger winds move through the area. The colder air advects in. We're going to be seeing a drop in temperatures. Again, even an overnight low of 11 on Friday with those strong winds. We're talking about maybe some pretty strong wind chills there. Then as we get towards Friday afternoon into your Saturday, we recover, and then we drop back down as we get into your Sunday. And then as we get towards your Christmas Eve, you can see you're trending right around the low to mid 40s. That's Christmas Eve there on Wednesday with the elf getting all happy that Santa's taking this sled, and Santa himself looking to be very warm as we get towards Christmas Day next week. That trend's held pretty strong and actually gone a little bit further up rather than down in terms of temperatures there. So that white Christmas possibility, probably less than a 10% chance now with all this warmth we have here in the forecast, and the rainfall as well. That's going to try and help melt that snow because it's going to be a warm rainfall we're looking at. Sadly, that white Christmas is most likely going to go away. I know many of you are not excited about that, myself included, but I will say the good news is travel concerns pretty much slim to none with the situation we're looking at next week. So that's the good news. But again, white Christmas, but easy travel. That's kind of what we're dealing with there as we get towards your holiday week. But that's kind of going to wrap it up here for this stream. As always, thank you so much for joining us here on this 8+ app. We're here at 8 p.m. every night. And don't worry, as we get towards that weather impact alert and that rainfall, we will be streaming, making sure you're staying covered, not only on, well, those winds, but how that morning commute is looking, road conditions, and any traffic delays as well with all that rainfall coming down. Thank you so much for joining us here on this 8+ stream. We'll see you back here tomorrow.